welcome back to my channel. So today I am making yet another dress from yet another sheet, and today I'm recreating a picture I think I first saw on Instagram, and I just fell in love with the design because it has this really pretty bow in the back and it's like long and ruffly, which you guys know I love so much. And I actually found a really pretty green, and I never work with greens, so I think this will be a fun change for me, especially not like dark greens. Like I never work with dark colors. But I think this one's actually so gorgeous, and this is just a sheet that I bought on Amazon again, and I will link the one that I bought down below. And I think I bought the full sheet because I don't think they had the twin in stock, but you should totally be able to just use the twin sheet if they have it now. And what these sheet sets come with are one flat sheet, one fitted sheet, and 2 pillowcases. So tons and tons of fabric for really great prices. That's why I've been using sheets a lot lately, because they just allow me to make really big things for like half the cost or more. And this pattern is also not going to be very hard. It's also going to be really adjustable because of the bow in the back. So it should be really easy for you guys to follow and change to different sizes. And I think it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. So I'm just really excited to cut up this fabric. Because I'm working with this sheet, I pretty much used my pillowcases for the bodice and then the flat sheet for the rest of the dress, and I honestly had quite a bit of fabric left over. I didn't even use the fitted sheet at all. So if you want to just do this project with regular fabric, I would recommend about 3 to 4 yards. And when working with the pillowcases, I just cut off the side seams so that I could unfold this into a flat piece of fabric and then just worked from there. So this is the front piece, and I marked out the darts for you guys so you can just transfer those measurements onto your fabric. This is the back piece, and this is just basically a big ribbon to tie a bow with. And the middle is folded up so you guys can see the whole piece, but the measurement is the full length. These pieces are the straps and the pockets. These ones are pretty straightforward. And then this is the big ruffle piece for the bottom. And again, I'm just showing you one little section of it, but the bottom length is what you want to be your total length of ruffles. And then this is the last piece, and this is the big skirt piece. This is basically just a really wide circle skirt because we're going to be gathering it up later. All of our pieces have been cut out, and the first ones I'm going to work on are the front pieces. And the first thing I'm going to do is sew in all of those darts that I marked out for you guys. So that's all the little triangles on the front, and we're just going to fold them so that the sides of the triangles meet up and stitch right across it. Now I'm going to put the front pieces to the side for a minute, and I'm just going to sew these strap pieces really quickly just to get those out of the way. So I'm going to take both of these long rectangular pieces, fold them in half this way, and then just sew down this side here. Then I'm going to trim down these edges and turn these pieces right side out. And to turn it right side out, I'm just going to use a pencil, and I'm going to start about 2 inches in and fold this so that when I push the pencil through, I'm pushing one of the layers through. Ta-da! And now I'm just going to cut down the top of this piece a little bit, and then on one of the layers, I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to take our strap pieces and I'm going to lay them across the top of the front piece and pin them in place where I want them to go. And you want to line up the top edges and have the rest just hang down. Then I'm going to take the other front piece and put this pretty side down on top of this one. And I'm going to match up all their seams and pin it in place. And I'm going to sew these together just across the top edge for now. And then when we flip this to the pretty side, we already have our straps attached. Well, for those of you who noticed that my hair was brown at the start of this video, yeah, I started recording this video actually a few months ago before the homecoming dress series, and I stopped it midway to do that instead because I got really motivated on it, and then I also ended up doing the Met Gala series. So we're kind of backtracking now, and I'm going to finally finish it up like 2 months later. And yes, it is November now, and I promise I will stop making sundresses and start actually doing winter clothes soon. But anyway, let's finish it up. So we have the bodice basically finished, and the sides here are where we're going to attach like the start of the bow. So I took our super long bow pieces and I cut them down to be only 8 inches wide because they were a bit too big. And so once we sew it, it should be a little bit shorter than the side of the front piece. So now I'm going to take both of these really long pieces and sew all the way around the perimeter, except for the little straight edge here. And then I'm going to turn these pieces right side out. And now that these are sewn, we're going to attach them to the bodice by opening this up and pinning it to the side of the front right where the seam hits up here. And then we're going to fold this piece back down and stitch right down this edge. And we're doing that on both sides of the bodice. And then we can turn this right side out again. And now all that's left to do on the bodice is to finish up the straps. So I just tried it on and I pinned them to a comfortable length. And now I'm just going to trim them, leaving a bit of excess. And then I'm going to fold the raw edge up, pin this in place, and then top stitch it down. Now I think we should start working on the skirt. And the first thing I'm going to do is sew in the pockets. So I'm basically going to measure 6 inches down from the waistband and then pin and sew all 4 of my pocket pieces to either side of the skirts. And now to finish up the pockets, I'm going to take both of our skirt pieces and lay them out flat, pretty side to pretty side. And we're also going to flip up the pockets so they're facing out. And then we're going to pin the skirt's side seams together. And when we reach the pocket, we're going to pivot our foot and stitch around the perimeter of the pocket until we connect back into the skirt. Then we're going to pivot it again and stitch down. And now when we open this up, we have pockets! Now on the skirt, basically the front section of it is going to be attached to the dress, and then the back section is actually going to have elastic so we can get this on and off easy. So on the front section, I'm going to put 2 parallel basting stitches all across the top edge of the waist. And then I'm going to pull on 2 of the stitches that are on the same side of the fabric to start gathering this up so that it fits into the front section of the bodice. Then once all of my ruffles have been evenly spaced, I'm going to pin these 2 pieces together and stitch across the front half of the waist. And when you pin these together, you want to leave a little bit more seam allowance on the skirt half of this than we normally would, so we have enough to make an elastic casing in a minute. And now where we stopped stitching on the waist, I'm going to fold this down so that it lays flat with the seam, and then fold this bottom edge up and pin it down like this all the way across the back so that we have room to add in some elastic. And then I'm going to stitch across this bottom edge here. Oh, and we can also take out the basting stitches across the front section of the skirt now. And now I'm going to take some elastic and thread it through the casing we made. And then you're just going to want to try it on and make sure that it fits you comfortably around the waist before cutting the elastic and stitching down either side. And now I'm going to serge the edges around the waist and skirt so that the fabric doesn't fray, but you could also use a zigzag stitch if you don't have a serger. And now the very last part we still have to do on this dress is to add all the ruffles to the bottom edge. Sophie! Are we done? So the last thing we still have to do is add the ruffles to the very bottom edge. So I'm going to take all of the ruffle pieces that we cut out and unfold them. So I'm going to take our ruffle pieces and unfold them and stitch them all together down their small edges into one gigantic loop. And now I'm going to put 2 parallel basting stitches across this top edge. And now I divided the ruffle out into 4 quadrants so we can make our ruffles a little bit more even. So I'm going to start and stop the basting stitches on 2 of these quadrants so it's a little bit easier to gather it all up. I also went ahead and divided out the skirt into 4 equal sections as well. And now I'm going to pin these sections together with the ruffles and then start gathering up the ruffles. And now we're going to stitch all across this edge, and then after that I'm also going to serge that edge. And after that we can take out the basting stitches. And now the very last step is to add a hem all around the bottom edge of the ruffle. And here is the finished dress. I'm really happy I came back and finished this project because I am so in love with it. It feels like really casual but still really like dressy and fancy at the same time. So I'm really excited to like wear it a bunch. And I know that the weather has been getting a bit colder lately, so I was thinking I could even wear it with like a turtleneck underneath and it might be really cute. And I'm also going to try to make a pattern of this dress, so hopefully that'll be up on my website pretty soon if you guys want to give this dress a go. And if you do, you can always send me a post or tag me on Instagram. I love seeing your guys' creations. And as much as I love sundresses, I think I'm actually going to be trying to make some winter clothes soon, which is kind of rare for me because I really like making summer clothes, but I think it'll be really fun to give it a shot together. So I hope to see you guys there, and have a good rest of your week. Bye!